valuable matters. Who is the most valuable player to a team? And there's two players. It's Jane Daniels and Saquon. Because if you remove those players from those teams, they're winning 3 games.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, you on the Eagles.
If you take Josh Allen
you on the Eagles.
If you take Josh Allen off the Bills, well, first off, no, because the Eagles made the Super Bowl without Saquon 2 years ago. They were in the same exact spot. What did
they do last year?
Same quarterback.
What did they do last year? They were terrible. The Eagles were terrible on the offensive side last year. Yeah, they squeaked into the playoffs, but that team petered out fast. And we were calling for Sirianni's job last year, bro.
I still think he's bad now. I think he's bad now, and he's in the Super Bowl. You know,
I'm going to disagree with you on that because this bro's now been in 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. You can't say that this guy's trash if he's
3
been in 2
years.
Super Bowls.
You wrong. Seriously, dude. Like,
if you give me the Eagles roster, I could coach them to the Super Bowl. I'd just be like, "Hey guys, how are the vibes? Are we good?" I'm not going to shave my head because
but no,
unless I need to, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's valuable. Who's the most valuable player on certain teams? Saquon is the most valuable player on any team for any team.
Bro,
he is the biggest. He is the biggest impact.
No, he's not.
Are you clip farming right now?
No, I'm not.
Because legitimately, if you're going to that argument, Patrick Mahomes is clearly number 1. Yes. It's not even close.
No, it's Saquon this year, bro. Are you?
Nobody has won on Patrick Mahomes' watch since he stepped into the league.
Football.
No,
that's insane.
Saquon this year is the most valuable player on a team right now. Saquon, what he's done is incredible. It's historic, bro.
If you're doing a redraft of every team, Saquon's probably not drafted until like the 2nd round because of all of the quarterbacks.
Bro, it is the most. You can't have it both ways, Grant. You can't sit here and say that the most important position in all of sports is quarterback and then give it to a running back whose dime a dozen couldn't make more than $10 million a year in New York.
Are you kidding? Are you calling Saquon a dime a dozen?
No, it's a dime a dozen position. I'm saying the value of the position. The quarterback position. Player. Dude, the quarterback position is so much more important. Oh. There are genuinely 20 players in the NFL that are technically more important to their team.
Saquon played for another team that did not have a good quarterback, and we saw how that went.
Yes. Grant, the last 10 Super Bowl winners, if you look at the last 10 Super Bowl winners, there's been 1 year that they had 1,000-yard rusher. 1. And it was LeGarrette Blount with the Patriots, dude.
Bingo.
So is he the greatest? Dude, like...
Love that guy. No. Remember when they punched that dude in the face?
Yeah.
I do. I remember where I was when that happened.
But I'm just, man, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that this is that important and then crown a guy the most important guy on the field all year. You just can't do it.
I can't. Like I'm putting that crown on Saquon's head.
But you're wrong. You by your own admission, you're wrong because you can't sit here and tell us that it's not the most important position in sports.
Also,
you know it is.
Also, my favorite
I'm not saying
argument for
I'm
this.
I'm saying right now, and this season,
you take Saquon over Patrick Mahomes right
I'm trying to listen to you, dog. I'm talking
about the season. I'm talking about the season, right? That's what we're talking about. I'm not talking about body of work overall. That's really what this is about. The 2024 season, right? Is it not?
Yes.
The 2024 season. I'm not talking
season.
I'm not talking
this more important.
In this 2024 season, if I were to look at this most valuable player position of running back, we just talked about another offensive player of the year who had more touchdowns than Saquon Barkley and had only 80 fewer rushing yards than him all season.
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry.
So what are the total yards?
But we are talking about
offense, offensive yards.
We're talking about Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry like they are in different galaxies when they had 80 fewer rushing yards than Saquon.
Yeah.
And 3 more touchdowns. By the way, on an offense that was a machine.
And by the way, did it with less carries.
Yeah.
Like an entire game's worth of less carries for Henry. I understand what you're saying, that he's a huge difference maker, and I agree with that. We watched that guy jump backwards and embarrass somebody for an all-timer play.
I mean, he would be the first running back off the board for sure.
I mean, his explosive plays are insane, and it's the number one stat that all these guys look at now.
No, and he has the most explosive runs in the history in the season. 50-plus yard touchdowns. He has the most.
Yes. And so I totally get that he has insane value, but he is not, as Jameson pointed out, he's not who you start your team with. If you're drafting, that's not who you pick. I don't understand then explain to me exactly what you're saying. Like, his body of work was better than everybody else's. It wasn't. It was barely better than the number 2 running backs.
And the statistically, I'm not box score watching and just looking at statistics. I look at the Eagles team last year and the Eagles team this year.
I went from a playoff team to a Super Bowl attending team currently.
After they were a Super Bowl team the year before that.
They got shellacked in the playoffs by the Buccaneers last year. They were one and done. And that offense was abysmal last year. Like, they started off hot and then coasted, foot off the pedal into the playoffs because they started out strong.
Yeah.
And that team collapsed and fell apart. And we were calling for Nick Sirianni's job, saying how terrible he was. And all of a sudden now this team has done a complete 180. And what's the big difference in this team this year from last year to this year?
Well,
both
two
coordinators.
Yes, now they have a second year, but again, it's the plays on the field.
But it's Saquon, and it's also that their quarterback's healthy.
And their defense is monstrous.
And their defense is insane.
But again, that wasn't a huge in terms of personnel. I mean, yes, they added Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, but they still had Jalen Carter last year. They still had trying to think. Bond. They still had a bunch of these guys last year. But you look at the totality of this team. I'm arguing right now that he is the most valuable player to a team in the 2024 season because of what he has done and what he has done with his team. That's what I'm arguing.
I think he's the most valuable player on that team.
And a million other teams.
and a bunch of other ones. Dude. He's not more important than all these quarterbacks. He's just not. He's not. Patrick Mahomes has proved the value of the position again, just like Tom Brady did, just like Elway did back in the day, just like Peyton Manning has. Like, the position just matters. And I get what you're saying. Like, he brought incredible value to them. But legitimately, it's a quarterback award, bro. And
I think it's stupid. And I hate it. Yeah, this is me protesting it. But again,
okay, I mean, he's going to win offensive player of the year.
My voice means nothing. I get that, but I'm just saying this is my protest of what this MVP award is. That's what this is.
One thing I want to give you though, there is one guy playing in the Super Bowl on this list. One, and I want to give it to you.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean you're right. But there is one guy playing on that's on this list, and that's him.
If you are not a quarterback and you are even a candidate for the award, you should take that as like a win.
Oh, because I mean, and I
get that's the case. You're going to win the offensive player of the year.
He doesn't need another one of these, from anybody. I get that, but it's a quarterback award. Can we just call what it is? We said it a million times. We say it every year on the show, and it's messed up. They need to separate the two because, as everybody's correctly said on the show today, those are two different things. Quarterbacks are just a different thing. And those stats are always going to be in their favor because there's more opportunity. They touch the ball more than anybody else. It is what it is. Every exactly. And so you can't compare, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say is you cannot compare Saquon to quarterbacks. You just can't do it. And you can't describe value of his position over the others, which I know you're not entirely trying to do, but are making a case that this sucks, that he's going to get hosed. And I get that.